Welcome to TradeTheNBI.com. This is John. This report is for the 30th. Well, again, back and forth across this ABM, and this is that, like we talked about the election decision, but, we're also seeing, some earnings start to come through again and been positive. So, despite the back and forth, as the election gets closer, people start to question, you already see the shenanigans going on and they're reported and blah, 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 blah. But at the end of the day, uh, the money is going to flow in where it thinks that it's going to get the best return, and politics has a lot to do with where money flows. So from an NQ standpoint, though, Google helping things just skyrocket there, pushing up, getting closer to where the S&P is, relatively speaking. Not quite there yet from a reading standpoint, all positive, but you do see some short interest increase here with the NBI White, but still with that strong reading, nothing's going to happen from it, and you still have green over cyan on the DOC, which definitely means that bulls have definite control over the situation. But as we get into month end, of course, you're going to have rebalancing and stuff like that. But this is an interesting one because the treasuries, the yield getting out of control relative to what the Fed was doing. So the market is basically saying you can't do lower rates at this particular time with the inflation rate you're running. And despite what you say from your numbers, it's becoming less and less believable. It was always questionable, but now they've gotten so ridiculous with it. It's not even credible anymore, and that's a problem because without that credibility, you get more volatility because there's a guessing game and people are trying to use their outside numbers to try and figure out what the reality is versus what's being reported. So that is quite a significant change in the way we've seen things in the last couple of years. From an oil standpoint, though, as long as it stays moderate, it's going to help, but you can still see prices are rising, so it's not had a significant effect yet. And of course, the election is going to have a lot to do with what happens to oil going forward. The euro, bouncing back just a little bit as they turn some states for Harris, this, that, their euro's in a lot of trouble regardless. But this is the story of it all for all economies, because when you see gold doing this, despite rates being modest, whatever, it's an indication that they see the major cracks in what fiat currencies have been doing. And they're doing it universally, thinking that, well, nobody has an alternative. But as you saw the completion of the BRICS, an alternative could be on its way. And as I promised you, we would see massive moves from crypto as well to match gold, and Bitcoin now starting to catch up to it. It was just a matter of waiting for it to take place. ETH doing the same, but slightly relative behind. There's more interest in the Bitcoin setup than not. Intra morning here, we have the European market a little back and forth. We had some fade off after the nice pump post market. When we go back to the intraday, it was all rosy pretty much. Early morning was soft, and then boom, call buyers drive everything all the way up, and there it was. So it was all pretty clean action, nothing too dramatic overall. And I think you're going to get more of the same. You probably see a little more volatility, even though as we get to the month end and they have to start making those adjustments as your final move before the election. So we'll go from there. As always, anything relevant, I'll put on the Skype chat and get ready for indicators for November to be coming out. Have a good one. Trade well.